In the calm and beautiful village called Udi, the people lived in harmony with nature. The village was blessed with fertile lands, abundant crops, and a river that flowed like a silver ribbon, bringing life to all. The villagers knew that these blessings were the gifts of the rain goddess called Mirima, who watched over the land from her palace in the mountains. The rain goddess was happy with the people of Udi, and she sent down rain every year at the right season for the people to make their living. And in return for her favors, the people of Udi were to live harmoniously, be at peace, and love their neighbors. Edu, the king of Udi, is a kind and just king. He would organize a big festival after every planting season, and the people would bring some of the harvest from their farms. They would prepare delicious meals with them. The palm wine tappers would come with the juiciest wines from their palm trees. The villagers would feast, drink, and honor the goddess for a successful planting season. The people of Udi loved their king, except for his stepbrother named Oke, who is envious of him and wants the throne all to himself. The following year, as the people of Udi were getting ready for the rainy season, some mysterious events began to unfold. A wealthy farmer woke up one morning to realize his yam barn that housed over 2,000 tubers of yam from the last planting season was empty. He didn't quite understand how this was possible, and so he called out all the members of his family to question them. Everyone denied knowledge of how this had happened. The farmer reported the incident to the king, who was also in shock. Few days later, a palm wine tapper got back from the market and realized his wine room had been broken into. Someone cleared out all the wine pots in the room. He raised an alarm immediately and reported the incident to the king. In the coming days, more people flooded the king's palace with similar complaints of their farm produce or other items missing from their homes. And at this point, cold shivers ran through the bodies of the indigents of Udi. A miscreant is on the loose. Fear and extreme coldness filled the air in the once bubbly village of Udi. The people became more at alert, locking up their reserve rooms with extreme caution. This sort of event had never happened before, and the people knew that this would have dire consequences. On the first week of the rain month, the rains did not come. The skies remained clear, and the sun blazed down mercilessly. The river shrank, the crops withered, and the wells ran dry. The villagers were desperate, for they knew that without rain, they would face a harsh famine. The village elders gathered and consulted the village priest, seeking answers. They soon realized that the rain goddess was angry with the people. Someone has desecrated the land of Udi by committing heinous crimes. And so, the goddess is angry at us all, the priest's voice echoed. The king, a wise and just ruler, called the villagers to the village square and announced, "The rain goddess is displeased, and she has withheld her blessings. Our ancestors made a deal with the goddess that we will live in peace and harmony with each other in exchange for the favors of rainfall every year. And this has been the case for hundreds of years. But in the past few weeks, we have recorded incidents of theft as a result of greed. And we have to collectively put a stop to this. the king pleaded. The people muttered under their breaths, and mistrust grew amongst them. Anyone could be the culprit. The king promised the people that he would do everything within his power to ensure that rain is released for the village. As the days went by, more people reported cases of missing food from their homes. A young man reported that the stacks of firewood he sells for a living in his backyard was stolen. Another woman raised alarm that some baskets of tomatoes in her store was carted away. These events continued to linger, and the people began to doubt the ability of the king to protect the village and restore peace. Okay, the king's stepbrother, summoned the elders and proposed for King Edu, his brother, to be impeached. He told the elders that he would put an end to the people's suffering and fear as their new king, since his brother has failed to do that. Some of the elders are aware of how envious Oke has been of his brother, King Edu, but fearfully gave him their support. The king had sent out many warriors to patrol the village at night and catch the culprit. But they will fall asleep and be discovered by the villagers by morning. The king dispatched even the strongest warriors, and just like the ones that went before them, they will fall asleep at different corners of the village and be found snoring by morning. King Edu was under a lot of pressure from his people. They were running out of water, and the reserve that they have saved up from the last season are either running out or being stolen from them. His warriors have failed to catch the culprit, and they always fall asleep when sent out to patrol. The king also was aware of the plot by his brother to take over the throne amid the chaos. But he was determined to find answers and put an end to the people's suffering. One morning, after thinking deeply about how to resolve the chaos in the village, King Edu decided to first find out why his warriors, who were the strongest army in the region, were falling asleep in the village. King Edu went into his room. He removed his expensive royal attire and put on a disguised outfit as a gardener. He also altered his face with white beards to look unrecognizable. He then laid ambush in the palace, hoping to get answers. That night, the king witnessed his stepbrother Oke dropping some liquid in the pot of food meant for the warriors. He was confused at first, but he decided to act swiftly. The king quickly ordered the palace cook to serve his own pot of food to the guards that night. The warriors were dispatched as usual, and they went into the village to patrol. Oke, the king's stepbrother, was unaware that the king had caught on, and the warriors did not eat the food he tampered with. He snuck out of the palace that night to go cause havoc and steal someone's farm reserves as usual. His mission was to create chaos and cause incidents that will portray his brother as incompetent, so that the people can reject his brother and make him their king. Unfortunately for him, the warriors were fully awake that night. He had stolen some baskets of maize and cassava from an elderly man's compound, and as he was about to sneak out through the fence, he was apprehended by the warriors. They held him down and removed the cloth he masked his face with. And to their surprise, it was Oke, the king's stepbrother. He was taken to the king's palace, and the news spread across the entire village, leaving the people wondering how much Oke's jealousy of his brother had cost them. The king wept in disbelief seeing his brother being dragged to the palace as the culprit who had inflicted so much pain on the villagers out of envy. The king had no choice but to banish his brother from the village of Udi, never ever to return. The following day, King Edu and the priest offered some prayers to the rain goddess, pleading with her to send down rain as they had uprooted the evil that had brought chaos in their village. The rain goddess smiled down at them from the mountain. She was once again happy with the village of Udi. And by morning the next day, the rain showered heavily on the lands of Udi. Both adults and children came out of their houses in excitement and gratitude, dancing in the rain. The season became a bountiful planting season. The people of Udi continued to live in harmony, and the tales of Oke's envy and the wrath of the rain goddess became a story that would be told for generations. This is the end of my story.